my stepsister Ellie and I had a close relationship growing up after our parents married, bringing us together as a blended family when I was 9 and she was 8. We spent a lot of time together and even shared a strong bond until high school complications arose, ironically because of a boy named John, who would later become my fiancé. Despite our pact not to pursue him to maintain our friendship, things took a turn. As teenagers, Ellie and I promised each other we wouldn't let our mutual crush on John come between us. We intended to keep our relationship with him purely platonic. However, as we all became closer friends, my feelings for John deepened. Still, I respected our agreement and kept my distance romantically, even though John showed interest in me. We never discussed John at home, knowing it was a sensitive topic. The tension peaked during our senior year when prom approached. John revealed that Ellie had not only asked him to prom, but had confessed her feelings for him, wanting to be more than just friends. This betrayal stung deeply, as it went against our promise to each other. Fast forward to years later, as my wedding day approached, Ellie attempted to disrupt the joyous occasion by falsely claiming that John had intentions of eloping with her. This act of jealousy prompted me to inform her husband of her deceitful behaviour, which eventually led to their divorce. Reflecting on our journey, it's evident how much our paths diverged from those childhood days when we were inseparable. Despite the challenges and betrayals, the situation unfolded in a way that clarified many things for both of us about loyalty and truth. Despite our previous agreement to not pursue John, Ellie had broken her promise and asked him to prom while confessing her feelings to him. John, however, had turned her down, revealing to me that he had only ever seen her as a friend. He shared that for the years we had all been in school together, he had sensed Ellie's interest, but never reciprocated because his feelings were directed towards me. He admitted that he had been trying to gauge my interest in him without success, as I had staunchly adhered to my promise to Ellie, keeping my interactions with John strictly platonic. As our senior year was drawing to a close and college loomed on the horizon, John felt compelled to clarify where we stood. He approached me for an honest conversation about our feelings, urging me to make a decision if there was a future for us, as he needed to plan for prom and beyond. That day remains vivid in my memory, a significant, unsettling revelation that forced me to reassess my relationship with Ellie and my own suppressed feelings for John. Feeling betrayed and overwhelmed, I asked John for a day to think things over. I skipped the remainder of the school day, too distressed to face Ellie on the walk home. When I finally confronted her at home, she defensively insisted that her actions concerning John were none of my business, despite our agreement. This confrontation made it painfully clear that Ellie had not only disregarded our friendship, but also blatantly pursued John despite knowing my feelings. This realization hit hard. I had always prioritized her feelings over mine, even to the extent of ignoring John's advances. But her dismissive attitude during our argument showed a lack of respect for the bond I thought we had. It was a painful but clarifying moment, realizing she valued a potential relationship with John over our long-standing friendship. The following day, after much reflection, I decided to pursue a relationship with John. I explained everything to him: the broken promises, the confrontation with Ellie, and how it all unfolded. He was incredibly understanding and supportive, ready to wait as I navigated these emotional revelations. This marked a new beginning for us, based on mutual respect and honesty, contrasting sharply with the deceit that had clouded my relationship with Ellie. Although it took me a while to reconcile my feelings, I ultimately confessed to John that I was in love with him. We started dating immediately, marking the beginning of a beautiful 7-year journey together. As for Ellie, the fallout from our argument led to a significant shift in our relationship. She moved into the basement of our shared home to create distance between us, and we ceased communicating altogether. This change was challenging for me, given our history and close quarters, but it was necessary. Our parents occasionally inquired about the rift between us, but neither Ellie nor I divulged any details. We simply drifted apart. As time passed, John and I attended the same college, while Ellie chose a school across the country. Our paths only crossed during holiday gatherings, making the separation easier to manage. After college, as we all began our careers, the intense emotions surrounding our high school conflicts started to feel trivial, like a distant teenage drama. At family events, Ellie and I managed polite exchanges and small talk, maintaining a semblance of civility. Then, last year, Ellie announced her engagement to her college boyfriend. Our interactions were cordial. I congratulated her and accepted her invitation to the wedding, albeit as a regular guest rather than the maid of honour we had once imagined for each other in childhood fantasies. It was a bittersweet moment, acknowledging that while we were mending fences, our relationship would never fully revert to its former closeness. Recently, John proposed to me, and amidst our joy, I decided to invite Ellie to our wedding, hoping for a drama-free celebration. She initially seemed supportive, congratulating me on my engagement. However, on the wedding day, Ellie's actions suggested otherwise. Despite arriving at the venue seemingly by mistake on the same day as us, which initially appeared innocuous, her intentions soon became clear. She made a dramatic attempt to disrupt my relationship with John, falsely claiming he wanted to run away with her. This accusation led me to contact her husband, revealing her deception, which unfortunately resulted in their divorce. This ordeal was a painful reminder of the unresolved issues between us. Throughout these events, from childhood friendships to adult estrangements, it's evident that while we grow and change, some conflicts remain challenging to fully resolve. Nonetheless, John and I moved forward, our bond strengthened by overcoming these trials together, always striving for a future filled with love and understanding, free from the shadows of past disputes. The faintest clue about the real action unfolding. As Ellie hovered outside my room on the day of my wedding, her behaviour was notably odd. Everyone else was enjoying the hotel amenities or getting ready in their own rooms. Her lurking struck me as peculiar, given that she wasn't part of the bridal party or immediate family. As I stepped out for a quick walk to settle my nerves before the ceremony, Ellie approached me claiming she needed to discuss something urgent. She concocted a story about arriving at the hotel earlier than planned, not by coincidence, but at John's request. According to her, John had supposedly confided in her about his cold feet and declared his love for her, not me. Ellie spun a tale of a secret, long-term platonic friendship, turning into romance, and now, according to her, John wanted to elope with her instead of marrying me. This narrative was shocking and out of character for John. We had built our relationship on honesty and direct communication. I knew him well enough to understand that if he had any doubts or feelings to discuss, he would have approached me directly, not through convoluted schemes. Ellie's timing, just an hour before the wedding, and her dramatic revelation seemed designed to cause maximum upheaval. Determined to confront the situation head-on, I decided to turn the tables. Instead of crumbling under the stress or confronting John with accusations, I called Ellie's husband. I didn't have his number, but a quick search on Instagram helped me connect with him. Standing there, pretending to be shattered by the news, I made the call right in front of Ellie, who mistakenly thought I was dialing John to break off our engagement. Exactly the outcome she was hoping for. As I spoke with her husband, laying out Ellie's deceitful behaviour and her attempt to sabotage my wedding, the truth came to light. This action wasn't out of spite, but a necessary step to cut through the drama and expose Ellie's manipulation. My faith in John remained unshaken, bolstered by our foundation of trust and mutual respect. The wedding proceeded without further incident, and the reality of Ellie's actions led to a significant fallout in her own life, confirming that her intent all along was to disrupt rather than protect. My relationship with John, strengthened by overcoming this challenge, moved forward into marriage while Ellie had to face the consequences of her deceit. Through this ordeal, I learned the importance of confronting issues head-on and the value of trust and honesty in a relationship. Ellie's actions on my wedding day unveiled a side of her I hadn't fully grasped before. Unbeknownst to her, when she pulled me aside to spin a tale about John wanting to elope with her, I was quick to dial her husband, not John, for clarity. She believed I was contacting John, which left her confident enough to weave her deceitful narrative right before I was to walk down the aisle. As I engaged her husband on the phone, Ellie's illusion that she was disrupting my relationship unraveled. She assumed I was devastated, likely calling to confront or break up with John. However, I put the phone on speaker, revealing not John's voice but her husband's, to both of our surprises. His shock and immediate response to return to his room exposed the gravity of her lies, and her reaction was visceral. She accused me of sabotaging her marriage intentionally. I returned to my bridal suite, leaving Ellie to deal with the consequences of her actions. I briefed my bridesmaids on the situation, instructing them to ensure she didn't attend the wedding ceremony. The ceremony itself went off without a hitch, smooth and uninterrupted, as Ellie was nowhere to be seen, likely sorting out her marital discord. Post-ceremony, our parents inquired about Ellie's absence, but I deferred the explanation for another time, prioritising the celebration and my new life with John. Later, I learned that Ellie had checked out of the hotel amidst the wedding, clear proof that her schemes had backfired spectacularly. Days after the wedding, the fallout from her actions became apparent. Ellie and her husband were separating. Her husband, fed up with her ongoing obsession with John, an infatuation she seemingly fueled among her friends, decided he couldn't overlook her emotional betrayal any longer. This decision wasn't just about a disrupted wedding day. It was a culmination of unresolved feelings and deceit. Despite the clarity of her self-sabotage, my parents and some friends sided with Ellie, holding me responsible for the dissolution of her marriage. They argued that by involving her husband, I had crossed a line, suggesting that I owed her an apology for exposing her actions. This stance baffled me and John alike, as all I had done was defend my impending marriage by revealing the truth, a move any partner might consider in the face of such betrayal. The insistence from some family and friends that I apologise for Ellie's own undoing has been troubling, leaving me to ponder the complexities of loyalty and the boundaries of self-defence within familial relationships. John stands by me, understanding that my actions, though drastic, were a necessary defence against a potentially ruinous lie. As we navigate these accusations and the aftermath of Ellie's actions, it's clear that understanding and reconciliation may require more than just clearing up misunderstandings. It may require confronting deeper family dynamics and expectations. After Ellie tried to sabotage my wedding by falsely accusing my now husband John of wanting to elope with her, the fallout was significant. Initially, I felt isolated as some of my family and friends sided with her, pushing me towards an apology I knew I didn't owe. It became clear that the only way to avoid further stress and blame was to distance myself from those who couldn't see the situation for what it was. If staying connected meant constant blame and feeling terrible, then it wasn't worth it. My parents stopped speaking to me because I refused to apologise to Ellie, and now, by their own logic, they have their wish as I'm not speaking to them either. As for my friends, if they choose to side with Ellie, then it's clear they were never truly there for me. It's a harsh reality, but one I'm ready to accept as I focus on building my life with John. John and I are currently on our honeymoon, and it's been a blissful escape from the drama. Not talking to my friends hasn't been as painful as I expected, probably because our connections were not as deep as I once thought. However, the strain with my parents is more challenging. I miss the casual, loving chats we used to have. Despite this, I know they're probably being influenced by Ellie's version of events, which makes reconciliation seem distant. I worry that by the time we return, the relationship with my parents may be beyond repair, especially since my mum, who has gone through betrayal herself, doesn't seem to understand my actions. On the 5th day of our honeymoon, I received a text from my mum. I've chosen not to open it yet. I want to fully enjoy this special time with John without the risk of any negative news disrupting our happiness. This moment is precious, and I want to live in it completely. Back from the honeymoon, I finally checked my mum's message. She explained that Ellie had been living with them briefly, but her constant negativity and attempts to turn them against me became too much. My parents had a change of heart after seeing her true colours. They recognised the harm she caused and decided it was time for her to leave. They've invited John and me to dinner to apologise and reconnect. It seems they've realised the mistakes made in handling the situation, especially given Ellie's emotional state post-divorce. I'm relieved and hopeful that this dinner will mend our family bonds. It appears that, despite the intense challenges, things are turning around. I'm grateful that John and I can look forward to rebuilding relationships and cherishing our new life together. It's a reminder that sometimes it takes a significant shake-up to see who's truly on your side and to appreciate the calm after the storm.